Welcome friends, I'm talking to you today about one of the most fun movements that we all want and hardly any of us can do, a handstand. Takes a long time, takes a lot of resistance, perseverance, you've got to prioritize your training. I've been training in handstands for more than 5 years, and it is best to train it more than once a week. At the moment I've been doing only once a week with timeline, but we want to get in a bit of consistency on the training. The drills that I'm about to take you through with the wrist and the core will get you there, and it's about getting time on the hands and starting to elevate. Once we've strengthened you up on the floor from being in a push-up position and you've loaded up the hands, you're loading up the wrist, and there's no pain from there, we want to start elevating up the feet to eventually being up to the point where your feet are up over the top of the hands. And it takes a lot. It's not easy doing a handstand. There's a lot that needs to be taken into consideration, such as, are we able to flex the hand to start off with? So you should be able to get into a 90-degree flex through the hands. If that's not happening, you're not going to be able to hold up a handstand, because if you're only on an angle, where do you think your legs are going to go? They're going to be sticking out this way. So we need to be right up over those hands. So our hands, our wrists need to be controlled. They need to have strength in them. They need to have mobility and flexibility. Our shoulders, if you're taking your arms up and you can only take your shoulder range only comes to here, you've got a little bit of work to do on your shoulder mobility to get them up to here, so that when you're into that handstand position, you're again vertical, straight up and down. Then we kick into our core. It's always coming back to our core, needing to have our core switched on through that time, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the inner thigh in together, pressing away from the earth, pointing our toes up towards the ceiling. There's a lot involved, but you can do it. You can do it. This is our first video for it. Okay, making your way down, I'm going to take you through, first up, the hand wrist drills. And even if you're not interested in a handstand, these are great. If you spend a lot of your time at the computer, start working on the mobility and flexibility of your wrists so that we don't have pain down the track. Okay, so coming down onto the floor, first one we call is a wrist roll. So you're going to be onto your knuckles. Now I will say, if you feel any pain through any of these, my modification is work on one hand to start off with. And listen to your body. Where is it getting the pain? Where do you need to source and see what extra mobility or flexibility you need? So let's go for 4 wrist rolls. So we're keeping those wrists nice and strong and neutral, rolling back onto the elbows and from there. So from there, to give you an idea already, you could start to take it into a harder level from going up into here. So you're going to take the hands a little bit further forward, roll down onto the elbows, and roll up. So you're starting to, that's an example of how we're starting to load the weight up through the hands in a different position. Okay, hands, so spread the fingers out along the floor. When I started training in handstand, I had to learn all about my hands and fingers. It was a whole lot of extra work that I'd never thought about the first 15, 20 years of my life. Now I'm looking at my hands and I need to work on the strength of my fingers. So from here, you're gonna spread your fingers along the floor, elevate your palms up. So we're keeping fingers flat down on the earth, and you'll definitely feel whether you're tight through one side. Again, listen to your body. It's trying to talk to you about where you need to spend some extra energy. Get some weight through the thumbs as well, because we press through. It's like our feet, all of our fingers are just as important as using every single toe for balance. We need every single finger for balance in the handstand as well. Okay, so from there, we're going into our elbow turn. So what an elbow turn means is when you're in that handstand position, if they're rotating away, we're closing our elbow shoulder joint. So if you've got elbows rolling in here, it's closing in the joint. Again, you're not going to be able to get vertical up into your handstand. We need to be opening up through the shoulders here. So we've got retraction happening through the shoulders. So in that 4-point kneeling is your beginner level 1 position. Spread the fingers, rotate the elbows forward, and then take them back. And again, if you're feeling any pain, don't continue on the double. Start to work very gently. Just take your time. Remember, I'm many, many, many years ahead of you on this work, so don't always copy that. You want to work to where you're at today, yeah? Okay, so working on rolling those elbows through and forward. So that's going to open up through the shoulder when you're in your position. Okay, we need flexion and extensions. So extensions, we want our 90-degree through our wrist, and we're going to roll up onto the knuckles here, and then roll down. And again, you may be able to take it out a little bit further where you work through one hand at a time. Definitely not working into a pain range. You want to stay well away from it. Very delicate through your hands, so take it nice and easy. And you may not have ever worked on your hands before. Today might be the first day, so listen to your body when it comes to that. We then have our rocks. So we want to rock sideways, rock forward and back. And you may recognize a few things here of where you're tight and where the pressure feels. It's one of those things that we want to work through a little bit of tightness when it comes to the rocking, and just recognizing where that tightness is and working on that mobility before kicking up into a handstand, because that's going to end in bad world. Come into two palms, wrist in together, lean over to the side. This is opening up our carpal tunnel area right in the center of the wrist and putting some pressure and leaning over to the other side. Fabulous. Okay, so the next one I call cat padding, just like the cats do. You want to rotate those hands around in all different directions, as if you're padding for a good spot to sleep, but you're not going to be sleeping. You're working on your handstand drills. So you want to get full rotation of the hands going into 360 degrees, and then working on stretching them back in the different positions as well. There's no perfect routine that you have to do on that. Just get into all ranges of movement on that one. Okay, so from here, we're going to go into the core work that's required, because predominantly the handstand comes down to how strong your core is. Once you've worked on your mobility and flexibility and you've got all the joints stacked up on top of each other, it's sitting good. What's going to keep you up there is upper body strength through the shoulders and arms, but all the core here. So I'm going to get you to flip over onto your back, and we're going to make our way down. Every day that you train is differently, so I'll get you to start with your legs up towards the ceiling, little bend in those knees, drifting those legs down here. You may go down to your full extension range, curl the rib cage up, take your arms out into that flex position, hold 10, 9, 8, 7. Notice I'm in a position here. My pelvis is curled forward, my rib cage is curling up. 3, 2, 1, little rest. I'll get you to do that. Do this video a few times, but you want to go for that one for about 2 or 3 times when it comes to the core. Beautiful. Okay, going on from there, flipping over and going into your straight arm plank. So what I'm doing is I'm loading you from a push-up position, and then I'm going to show you some ideas to go from here. From here, we don't want the bottom up. We want to tuck that under as if you're in your handstand position, holding that shape. Bring your hands in a little bit closer, right underneath those shoulders. Core is on. Press up through the middle of the shoulders here. Hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Rotate this elbow. 5, 4, 3, 2. Change hands. 10, 9, 8. Grip with all fingers. So you want to see a little bit of white through all fingertips there. 3, 2, 1. And bring it back down. Beautiful. Take a little bit of rest down onto the knees. Okay. When we go from standing up, we just flip it around onto our hands. What is the position that we're at? I'm going to demonstrate that to you. So you can practice this up against a wall. You can hold onto a weight. You can hold onto a heavy ball or a dumbbell, anything that gives you a bit of loading through the top. You'll stand, neutral stance, curl under. So if I mapped it from the bottom, your feet are squeezing together. If I wasn't standing, I'd be pointing my toes. Curl the pelvis in, squeeze the glutes, adductors are on, core is on, pelvic floor transverse, reaching our arms up. Now from here, most important part when it comes to a handstand, took me too long to learn this. If the rib cage is flared, you're not going to be able to hold your stance. Tuck that in. So the idea is hold this weight for 1 minute or 30 seconds, build up towards it, you might be 10 seconds, hold the weight, pressing your shoulders, so we want to elevate the shoulders up towards your ears. So as if you're reaching, it's intense, so it might only last 10 minutes, that's okay. Reach, 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 holding that weight, tuck it in here, core is on, squeezing the glutes, core, adductors on, it's all happening, and you can hear it in my voice. It is intense and it's quite exhausting. So do little practices, little practices. So what do we do once we've gone from being in that push-up position? You've nailed it. You're going, all right, Tash, ready to go. We want to elevate, start elevating your feet to bringing more weight onto the hands. Can be daunting, can be scary. Start off small. So we can use, around your house, you've got a dining chair. If you're a bit more experienced, the back of the couch works incredibly. You can take your feet up against a wall. You can use a little step. You could use your yoga block. Whatever you find. Stack of recipe books. You just want to elevate it up, elevate it up. You'll find it. Okay, so to elevate up, I'm going quite high today. You're going to step one foot up, step the second foot up, and walk it in. So you can see here I'm in a beautiful L position. Back is nice and straight. Legs are doing their best to be straight if I've done my hamstring flexibility. And I'm pushing away from the earth, and I'm going to hold for 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep pushing that floor away from you. 4, 3, 2, 1, and rest down. Well done. Take a breather when you come out of those ones when you've been standing halfway upside down. If you enjoyed that video, make sure you hit like below and subscribe. And if you want to see more videos from me, check out mytxo.com.